for pound king of boxing. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Let me introduce a man now who will give you more details, obviously, about the fight, all of the programming surrounding the televised pay-per-view portion of the evening as well. He's the president of Showtime Sports, Steven Espinoza.
Thanks, Brian. As Brian mentioned, it's a fantastic time to be a boxing fan. Boxing has never been hotter. Big fights, top fighters versus top fighters are happening more regularly than ever before, week after week. And there's one place where the biggest fights are happening, and happening more often than anywhere else. That's Showtime and Showtime pay-per-view. Together with our partners, Premier Boxing Champions and TGB Promotions, we've delivered the strongest schedule in the sport. More big fights, more often, week after week. This year, through July, we've scheduled 17 big-time boxing events. It's probably the strongest run of fights that we've had in the 37-year history of Showtime Boxing. It's not just 2023. You can go back a couple years, fight after fight, unification fights, undisputed title fights, sold-out arenas, coast-to-coast, pay-per-view records. And in the middle of this run, this great run of fights, this industry-leading schedule, we're thrilled to be delivering this once-in-a-generation fight. I don't need to sell the fight. It speaks for itself. Two of the best fighters in the sport fighting to make history. But in fact, if you were going to create the perfect fight, if you're going to describe what a perfect boxing match would be, it'd look a lot like this. You'd want two of the best fighters, two of the most skilled fighters in the sport. Check, we got that. Two fighters with knockout power, all action, aggressive, fan-friendly styles. Check. You'd want an evenly matched fight. So evenly matched that the betting odds are almost dead even. Got that too. You'd want high stakes, an undisputed world title fight, history on the line. You'd want some drama, a backstory, fighters who've overcome adversity, two fighters with big, enthusiastic fan bases. And you'd want history and legacy. And as Brian and Tom described, we've got that too. So here we are, the perfect fight. All the elements that any boxing fan could wish for, all in one mega fight. Of course, we'll take you behind the scenes, inside the lives of these two fighters. 3 episodes of the Emmy Award-winning All Access. First episode premieres Saturday, July 8th. Second episode premieres Saturday, July 15th. And of course, following the fight, the epilogue episode. We will see you July 29th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Steven. Let's hear from the camps. Start with TBC Promotions, Bud Crawford's camp. Before we bring up the next person to the podium, let me acknowledge he's the assistant trainer for Terence Bud Crawford, Mr. Isaul Dieguez. Good to see you. We're coming to the podium now. The WBO champion of the world, Mr. Brian Bomac McIntyre.
Hello, boxing world. How everybody doing? Good, that's good. First of all, I want to thank everybody. Spence, Derek James, Showtime, GTB. I want to thank that side over there, because obviously they looking at us like we the B side. That's all right. That's what I'm so glad. I'm glad both fighters stayed the course and stay true to the game to show the world that who the best fighter is. And that just speaks true knowledge and true volumes about each fighter's character. But I will say this. Don't miss it. I promise you, don't miss it. I know Spence is coming. I know Derek is going to train.
Can
his
y'all
shit
hear
out.
me?
I know his team going to do a damn good job over there.
Yo, chat, can y'all hear me?
We're going to walk away victoriously.
All right. I just wanted to make sure we live, man, because I'm going to do live commentary on here. Hopefully,
Bo-Mac,
Jason will
thank you very
jump in
much.
soon.
Now to the man down promotion side of things. Let me acknowledge as well.
All right, Jay, I'm going to hit you
Father
back,
of the
man. I'm
unified champ,
live right now, man. If you
Mr.
can't jump in, let me know. All right.
Good to see you, sir.
Yep. All right, man.
All right, coming to
Bo-Mac
the
said they
podium
gonna-
now.
They coming.
What a year. He was the Boxing Writers of Association, Ring Magazine Trainer of the Year, Mr. Derek James.
Let's go, DJ.
No, I'm very happy to be here, and this is a sign. A lot of talk, a lot of hearing a lot of speculation, people talking. So it's all about right now, about showing and proving, and something I can't wait. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of being asked questions about it. I know everybody on the stage tired of talking about it, tired of being asked questions about it. So it's time to get busy. That's all I care about, getting busy, seeing my guy go out there and doing everything he needs to do. He did what he said he was going to do, get those 3 belts. Now it's time to go get one more. It's all about big fish right now. And I like you guys, but at the same time, hey, listen, we're really co-workers. Only way we can get this thing going, we got to work together. But night of the fight is really is showtime for real. And we're going to make it happen. Thank you all.
All right, DJ. All right. I want to see the energy, man, from Terence Crawford. I want to see the energy from Errol Spence. I already saw somebody making a comment about Errol's glasses, whether or not his glasses are indication that his
He's got
eyes
a
hurt. Doesn't even make any sense.
76% knockout percentage. Since he's moved up to welterweight, he has stopped every opponent he's faced.
Stopped every opponent.
He's the former undisputed super lightweight champion of the world. He's the current WBO welterweight champion of the world. He is Terence Bud Crawford.
Terence Bud Crawford.
What's going on, everybody? Y'all don't look excited. I'm so excited that we here today and that we getting this fight done. I'm excited for you, the fans. I actually got a gift for each and every one of y'all. And why? Because I love y'all. Because without y'all,
He sound nervous. He sound nervous.
so I'm gonna give y'all a gift with the presence of myself and Errol. July 29th, so y'all can witness greatness. There will be greatness July 29th. that
He
you
doesn't
guys
sound
will witness.
convincing.
And how do we measure greatness? You guys, we measure greatness by errors. You had the Sugar Ray Robinson error. You had the Ali error. The Marvin Hagler, the Tommy Hearns. You even had the Floyd Mayweather, his error. But July 29th, I'm gonna show each and every one of y'all why. This error is the Terence Crawford error. Come fight night, he called himself the big fish, right? But what you do when the fish get took out the water? You suffocate him. Let's go.
You sound nervous. That didn't sound convincing.
Coming to the podium is a man who has a 78% knockout percentage.
Ooh, that's pretty high too, huh?
6 of his last 7 opponents, former world champions.
Woo! Sound like some real
3
good
of them,
competition.
he took away their straps. He's the unified welterweight champion of the world. He's known as the Truth. Big Fish.
Big fish.
Man down. Errol Spence Jr.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
I'd like to thank everybody for being here. This is the biggest fight I feel like in boxing right now. This is a legendary fight. This is definitely an old school fight. This is the fights that my dad used to talk to me about and older people tell me about, where you had Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns. You had
Facts.
Durant and all them. You had De La Hoya and Trinidad fighting. You had the best fighting the best. And finally, we at this point where, me and Terence Crawford had to get on the phone, talk about it, and now, it's finally happening. The best fighting the best. I feel like this is an old school fight, creme de la creme, and this is gonna prove not only the best welterweight in the world, it's gonna prove who the best fighter in the world is. If you know my mentality, it's to win, it's to go all out, give it everything. His mentality is the same thing. So I want everybody to tune in July 29th, come to the fight, because we're going to have a crawfish boil.
Crawfish
So everybody
boy.
make sure they're there, man. It's going to be enough for everybody, I promise you that.
Big fish. Yeah, he is. He's much more
Guys,
relaxed
let's
than
talk
Crawford.
about the fight.
But he's been on the bigger stage more than Crawford has, honestly.
You know what? Let's start with the trainers first. Bomac, first question is quite simple. Can you tell the media, tell everybody who's watching, why is Terence Bud Crawford going to win this fight July 29th?
Well, I will tell you this, and why Terence is going to win the fight. Because he's the best fighter, and the world knows that. And if you just look how about he go about his business, there's no playing around with him. He come to get you out of there. Once he hurt you, that's a wrap. I'm sure I can get many former fighters that he done fought to come up here and back up what I'm saying. Now, I will tell you this. Errol's a damn good fighter. Damn good fighter. He accomplished a lot in the game, and I tilt my hat to him and his trainer, Derek. But the boxing world, the real fighters know. The real boxing fans know out there who gonna win this.
Win this fight July 29th.
Well, I believe that Errol Spence will win the fight because of his depth. I believe his technique. I believe that his skill set. It's not so much about the gamesmanship of the show. He's a guy never talking. The guy who goes.
Bomac has changed his tune. He a damn good fighter. That's different from what he was saying several months ago.
July 29th.
You know what it is.
Go out and yet again prove his dominance over another fighter. It's not so much about knocking somebody out. It's always about breaking somebody, breaking somebody's mirror.
Breaking them. Exactly, Tunnel Vision.
Breaking Terence Crawford's will.
But we heard why you're going to win. I think we want to hear from you. What is a victory, though, on the 29th mean to you specifically? We know it comes as being undisputed. That would also mean you be the first fighter to be undisputed in 2. What would a victory on the 29th mean to you?
Well, like I said, that piggybacks on what I said before. It shows that I'm the greatest fighter of this era. No man have captured undisputed in 2 different weight classes.
Teofimo did it last week.
Teofimo definitely wasn't. He was lineal, correction, but he wasn't undisputed. Sorry, Derek. Sorry, sir. You tried it. But yes, once again, I will be the first male boxer to actually capture the welterweight champion in 2 divisions, and that would solidify me as the greatest fighter of this era.
Definitely not, man. I'm not gonna lie, Tyron got the best matchmakers in the business. I ain't fighting nobody, man.
There you go, Spence. There you go, Errol.
At 140.
There you
fight
go,
at
Errol.
135, and who you fought at 147? Man, even you fought Sean Porter. Even Sean Porter said.
What did I do to Sean Porter that you couldn't
Sean
do?
Porter said
What did I
he
do
did
to
not
Sean
train like he
Porter
should.
that you
He didn't do the
couldn't
things
do?
that his daddy told him to do. What are you talking about?
you
Even
Exactly.
His daddy said it. Even his daddy said it.
His daddy said it. His daddy said it. His daddy said
Look,
it.
he was already broken.
So was he
What are
broken when you
talking
fought him?
about? No, he wasn't broken.
How come he
I broke
wasn't?
the other eye.
He came off.
Yeah, that's
There
how
you
I got
go.
broke.
Big
That's how I got
fish.
broke.
He came off.
Big fish.
What does it matter?
He came off a stoppage, and then he fought you
What
months,
does it matter?
months prior.
What does it
Oh yeah, they doing their thing.
matter?
So was he broken or not?
No, he wasn't broken.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
What you talking about? I had the same surgery he had, and what happened? So what they say about you then? You fight me then?
I'm gonna break the other eye.
So what they say? So I'm broken then, right?
Well, you broken. You gonna be broken July 29th.
Yeah, we gonna see.
You gonna be broken.
So
Yeah,
that begs the question,
We're
Errol.
gonna see.
What does a win mean to you specifically on the 29th?
It just mean he's a great fighter. It just mean I broke another great fighter's will, and I broke him down mentally, physically, and I came out on top.
Never.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
You know, Errol, the interesting thing is you are the unified welterweight champion. You've taken away everyone's strap, it seems like, in this division, yet you're the Vegas underdog coming into this fight. Does that motivate you? Does that upset you? Your feelings on that?
Nah, I don't pay attention to it. I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, everything I've been throughout these 2-3 years, I mean, I should be the underdog. But I mean, it is what it is, man. A lot of people become underdog and they end up winning. So that's why it's a bet.
They know what's gonna happen. That's why.
But I want to ask you about that. I loved it on social media. You characterized July 29th as a fish fry. Can you enlighten the people on what you meant by that?
I'm gonna gut them. And I'm gonna feed them to everybody that eat fish in here. You call yourself the big fish, we're gonna have enough food for everybody.
We'll see. We'll definitely see.
Put some potatoes on the side of it too.
Hey, man, y'all go to ESJ.com, thetruth.com, and go buy that op pack, man.
We don't smoke over here.
It's legal in Vegas, man. We gonna roll him over.
All we do
Hey,
is
man.
fish fillet.
We gonna roll him over, smoke him, man.
We go hunting over here, and best
like I
believe
said,
we hunting you
we
down.
gonna roll him up and smoke this dude.
Errol, you described it on social media as, quote, a one-sided ass whooping. I'm going to punish Terence Crawford.
That's how it always is. It's gonna be a one-sided ass whooping. I mean, he gonna come in with the mentality, and you know, it's gonna probably take a few rounds, but and he a stubborn dude. So, but we gonna, like I said, man, everybody get broke. We gonna break him, man. We gonna break him like a horse.
I'm ready.
What are people going to say? Because this fight has been so anticipated. Once it's over, what do you think people are going to say about the fight, and what are they going to say about Bud Crawford?
They're gonna say Bud Crawford is special. And all the people that thought he was gonna do what he say he was gonna do, they're gonna say, wow, we was wrong about that kid. He is special. He is great. That's what they're gonna walk away saying. This boy is great. I can assure you that. And he'll give me my respect after the fight. Right now, he in the mode of.
I give you respect now.
No.
I give you respect now.
I'm talking about when I whoop that ass, you gonna really.
I
give
give
me
you respect now. I give
It's
you
gonna
respect
be,
now.
Damn.
You great right now.
I'm gonna have to do it again, but
Like the rest of them. Simon Hearns, all them dudes are great. Marvin Harris, Durant, all them guys are great, man. But hey, man, sometimes dudes get broke.
And the same question to you, Errol. What are they going to be saying about this fight and about Errol Spence Jr. after July 29th?
How the hell Errol Spence keep breaking these men, these grown ass men?
So here we go. Last question for me, for you guys. Start with you, Big Fish, for the thousands that have packed T-Mobile Arena, for the millions that are going to buy it on Showtime pay.
Old school type fight. If you've been craving one of those fights from the 70s, 80s, early 90s, you gotta tune in to this fight, man. This is a legendary fight. I feel like, you know, belts aside, all that type stuff. I'm talking about, you talk about Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. This is the biggest fight in boxing, period. Especially action-packed wise. If you know his mentality, you know my mentality, you already know, man, we going for the victory, but a tough victory. I know he's not gonna try to break. I'm definitely not breaking. So it's gonna be an all-out war. I think it's gonna be tactical in the first couple of rounds, but as the rounds go on, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna try to break his will. He's gonna try to break my will, and we both gonna go for the victory. Everybody tune in July 29th. It's gonna be a all-out war, action-packed fight, and you're gonna want to tune in to this fight because this fight is gonna be talked about for decades.
I know I said it, but they were my words. I want your response to that. You believe the winner, pound for pound, best fighter in the world?
The winner of this fight is definitely the best fighter in the world. I mean, pound for pound, that's all. You know, I don't know how they judge that, but everybody know this the best fighter in the world, whoever wins this fight. This creme de la creme, this the best fighter in the world, no questions asked, no nothing. So make sure everybody tune in to this fight.
But Crawford, same question to you. For all those thousands of people who will come out to T-Mobile Arena, spend their hard-earned money, Showtime pay-per-view, what can you guarantee they're going to get on July 29th?
I can guarantee everybody is going to witness something special that night. Errol Spence, he don't like to back up. I'm the type of fighter where you push, I push even harder. You hit me, I want to fight even harder. He got a big heart. I got a big heart. He loved to fight. I love to fight. And it just makes for a great action-packed fight with a lot of, you know, excitement in it. So July 29th is going to be a great night for boxing. I feel like this is definitely a legacy fight and a fight that should be talked about in the whole boxing community, if it's not all through the social medias outlets. But I do believe that this is a old school type fight where, you know, you got all the greats fighting each other. Like I said, in this era, this is the greats fighting each other. So yeah, tune in July 29th, buy the fight if you can't be there.
Love it. All right, I know we got some questions from members of the media. All we ask is that you identify yourself, tell us who you're with, and ask your question.
How you doing? Tyler Tynes from the Los Angeles Times. Just wondering, for Bud first, what took so long for y'all to finally come together and do the fight?
Listen, it doesn't matter what took so long. All that matters is we here now. I'm excited. Everybody else excited. And July 29th, myself and Errol Spence will be sharing the ring together and putting on a great show for each and every one.
Today, I just wanted to ask you, Terence, obviously you've really earned the reputation of being the sport's best finisher. Can you describe in detail what happens when you see that moment that you need to kill the opponent or knock him out? What takes over?
Well, I don't know, it's an inner all types of great fighters got that instinct that when they see one of their opponents hurt or wounded, they go for the kill.
Thank you.
Greg Rosenstein, The Athletic. For Errol, you two have both been compared constantly over the years in the division and on pound-for-pound lists. What specific skill sets do you see you having the advantage over Terence?
I mean, I got a lot of skill sets I feel like advantages over him. But at the end of the day, I feel like this fight is basically so even. You know, it's going to be more about just being more focused and, you know, not getting out of focus, especially in the later rounds, just making sure, staying on point all throughout the fight and making sure you don't lose focus, because that's how you end up getting caught.
Errol Kakopian with the BoxingScene.com. You're going to be coming off a nearly 16-month layoff. Are you concerned your time away from the ring will impact your preparation and your performance come fight night?
I've been off longer, so I mean, a 16-month layoff, that's cool. I mean, it was nothing I was recovering from, so that was more rest anyway. I mean, it ain't like the other times where it was a car crash or a retina surgery or something like that. So it'll be fine. Definitely be fine.
Hi,
Folks,
guys.
we got one more?
Yep.
One more.
Hi, guys. Marcus Hayes, Fight Hub TV. I want to ask this question for both Errol and Terence. I've heard that you guys spend a lot of time FaceTiming and communicating to make this bout happen. What's something that you guys learned about each other in your private conversations?
I mean, you're just talking about family and, you know, situations and stuff like that, but, you know, just getting the feel out for each other. So, I mean, you learn a couple of things, but, I mean, we were just talking, feeling each other out.
Well, I would say the same. You know, Errol's probably outside of right now, probably a cool dude, but I feel as if both of us was mature enough to get on the phone and talk to one another, to be able to sit here and make the fight for each and every one of you fans.
Fantastic. There you have it, folks. July 29th, T-Mobile Arena. AXS.com is where you can get your tickets. A super fight. Champion versus champion. Both unbeaten, both in their primes. Spence versus Crawford. Guys, let's get the entire camps up here. Let's take some pictures.
Yeah, Crawford is 100% smaller in height and just stature. He's a smaller guy. I'm trying to see EJ arms as they hang down, because if Crawford doesn't have the reach advantage, he's not going to win this fight. He has that's my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong. Crawford has absolutely no chance to win this fight if he does not have the reach advantage.
Thank you, everybody. This is for the undisputed welterweight championship of the world.
All right, man. Wow. Yo. So I just want to delve into this a little bit, man, and talk about my initial thoughts on this. Hopefully Jason will join me soon. I need to see what this dude is. This dude is never available when you need him. But yeah. My initial thoughts on this: number one, Terence Crawford, in my opinion, had nervous energy as he started that fight. Period. I mean, or that press conference. He had nervous energy. You could see it in his voice. His voice was cracking a little bit. You can tell by the hesitancy in his voice that he was a little bit nervous about it initially. I think he did settle in a little bit later once the trash talking started. I like that Errol went straight to talking about his resume and talking about who has he fought. I do like that. People were talking about we need to move past that. We got to fight now. No, we don't. No, we don't. That's the same energy that made this fight so big. That is the exact same energy that made this fight so damn big. And because of that, they need to continue with that same narrative. Errol Spence, who is Terence Crawford fight? Terence Crawford talking about, he was on the other side of the street and they didn't want to fight me. All of that stuff plays into the hardcore. It's almost like being a Republican or a Democrat, right? It's like you're playing to your base. When you make those comments, you're playing to your base. And so they should continue to go down that path and talk about what happened in the past and so forth and so on, because it helps build the fight. Crawford, I would say anybody won this press conference, I would say it's Errol Spence. Crawford looked nervous, period. Now, again, he did settle in. I don't know if you guys feel like salute Anton Richardson, salute everybody in the chat for as a matter of fact. Crawford, I guess you could say that, it's believable that he felt like, he believed what it was that he said. I don't know. But he, like I said, he felt nervous. Errol, everything Errol said, you felt it. You believed it. It felt like he meant it. Like he that's what he truly believed. Crawford, on the other hand, he felt a little bit shaky. But I do believe both fighters respect the other fighters, right? I think Errol knows that he's in for a tough fight. I think Crawford knows that he's in for a tough fight. I don't think either one of these gentlemen think that they're going to go in here and wash the other fighter. Now, what I'm curious about, and I want to hear what you guys got to say. First of all, I want to understand from you guys, what is it about? Why was Terence Crawford on stage with an open wound? I just want to understand that. Like, he had this clearly he had lost some skin there. I don't know why he didn't put on a Band-Aid or something, man. That looked disgusting. I mean, I think that's the first sign that he's going to get knocked out. Secondly, and I'm going to go back to this because I said this before, Terence Crawford's game is predicated on athleticism and the ability to control range. He has been able to control range because of those long arms. Terence Crawford has some of the longest arms I've seen on a guy that's 5'7", 5'8". His arms are incredibly long. Against elite, he's fought competition that has either been, pretty good, but he was able to control that distance. I'll always say that Sean Porter was tailor-made for him just because of the style, the counterpunching style, and the fact that he could throw from distance. Crawford has always had the luxury and the advantage of being able to counter from distance, right? I can counter you from a range that you can't necessarily hit me. I've always believed that's the case from Terence Crawford. I wanted to see EJ arms all the way hanging down, but EJ was holding his belt, so I couldn't see it. But EJ arms look like they're as long as Terence Crawford's arm. If EJ's arms are as long as Terence Crawford's arms, where he doesn't have that reach advantage, where he can hit and not be hit, he's going to lose this fight. He's going to lose this fight. I'd bet money on it. I don't typically bet on fights because I don't like betting on no man. But on this one, I would bet money he would lose because that has been his bread and butter, the ability to control distance. And if he can't do it, I get the numbers, guys, 74 to 72. I get the numbers. That's arm length, right? But sometimes those measurements are not on point. And when you look at Errol Spence's arms, they look to have hung as low as Terence Crawford's arms. If they are comparable, my opinion, he's gonna everything that we've seen from Errol Spence in terms of what he does to opponents, he's gonna do it to Terence Crawford too. That's my opinion. I always like to see guys measured up against each other, how they look size-wise. I've never really seen these guys. Edgar Chavez, how are you doing, sir? Salute. And salute to everybody in the chat, too, man. Salute. Hey, we got 105 people and 34 likes, man. Hit that like button for me, man. Help other people find this. But, yeah, I always like to see opponents sized up next to each other, man. I think that's important, to see those guys sized up. So, yeah, man, I know it's midday, so I ain't going to go too long today, but what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone line for a minute. I'll probably go for about another 30 minutes on here, and then, of course, Jason and I are going to have to get together and drop some content on this because this is some good stuff. But, yeah, man, I just opened up the phone line. Let's see here. Yeah, I usually don't do this, but we're going to go ahead and do it for the people. We're going to go ahead and do it for the people. I just put the phone line up there in case somebody want to call in and discuss this. I'm probably going to go for another 30 minutes or so, but there we go. We already got somebody calling in. 510, man, what's going on with you? You on here with Greg, bro?
What's up? What's up, man? You sure already know who this is, man? This is Tom from the Bay.
What's going on with you, bro?
Oh, not much, man. I'm been moving. I'm moving right now. I don't know if you can hear I'm in my car, so I was kind of watching it while I was in my car. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I was watching it while I was in my car because I'm out running errands. I kind of missed Terence Crawford's part, but I've seen all of Errol's part. And I kind of missed where Errol was kind of going at him over his resume. I saw a tad bit of that. But, I think that's good that Errol's jamming at his resume. And I seen the part where Blood talking about you can't fight going backwards. So I can tell he really going off that Porter fight where Porter's strategy was to have Spence on the back foot. And if he go off on that, that's going to be a dangerous fight for him because Errol, to me, he's a complete fighter. Now, I mean, admittedly, he didn't. I mean, like I said, Spence is my favorite fighter, but I'm gonna keep it real. He didn't look as good in that Porter fight, but I can tell he really been going off that Porter fight and probably been talking to Porter on the side about his weaknesses and things he can take advantage of.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, that's a common narrative as it relates to Errol Spence, right? The whole notion that he can't fight moving backwards. Errol Spence has not been forced to fight moving backwards. So how do you know if he can fight moving backwards or not? And I'll say this again.
Yeah.
When you start talking about individuals that have gotten to the Olympics, those guys are typically skilled in all categories. Now, I'm not saying that he can move backwards like he's Floyd Mayweather or Sugar Ray Leonard, but he may be surprised if he just believes or going into the ring with the notion that he could just push Errol back. Because we talked about this last week during the live stream. I said, maybe he might try to go to the body of the body puncher, right? You know what I mean? He might try to do something a little bit different to try to throw Errol off. And maybe trying to push him back, he might be a little bit more aggressive. But I don't see that being a great tactic for Terence Crawford, in my opinion. He could try it, but I don't think that's going to be a great tactic for him.
That didn't really come off either. And I just, when he said that, it just came, okay, him and Bomac were really studying that Porter fight, because that was kind of the only fight I seen where Spence was on the back foot, damn near on. Well, I mean, not in the majority, but a lot of that fight, he was on, but Porter was backing him up.
Yeah.
Like I said, he didn't look as good in that fight, and so I can tell he really been going off that. And him and Porter boys, I'm sure he been going, hey man, tell me some things you noticed in the fight. You almost beat him,
I wouldn't be surprised, but they're probably just getting that from the. Here's the issue with Errol in that fight, and I think why it's a bad comparison when you start to talk about. And I believe I got Jason in the building with me, man. So let me go ahead and bring him in. Guys, I want to make sure that he gets his opportunity to come on here and talk as well because, Jay, you in the building with me, man. What's going on, man?
What's happening, man? I saw a little bit of fireworks, but, couldn't watch it all. I catch the replay in a little bit.
Yeah. So we were just talking about just the whole notion that Errol can't fight moving backwards, and I was about to explain that Errol went into that fight with the idea, with the desire to knock Sean Porter out, period. That's what he was trying to do. That's what he wanted to do. And so what he was trying to do was take a half step back and counter him as he was coming in. He caught him a couple of times, but he never caught him flush. That was what he was trying to do. And I think he was fighting in a manner that was going to give him the best opportunity to actually catch him flush, and he never did. I think he could have fought a different fight and looked much better. And I'm going to tell you something else. And for anybody that's in the chat, I want you to go back and take a look at this when you get a chance. Look at how Errol looked in the Sean Porter fight. And I mean physically, not how he looked in terms of his skills, but physically. In terms of being ripped, lean, everything like that. And then look at him in the Danny Garcia fight or the Ugas fight. Look at him in those fights. And tell me if you see a marked difference in his physical appearance in those two fights. I guarantee you'll say, yes, he looked softer against Sean Porter, and that was indicative of how he was training during that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said how he had trouble making the weight. He had to get in the sauna suit and all that. So he did say that.
Exactly.
And I believe he said the same. He had to do that for Mikey's fight too. He had to get in the sauna suit and all that.
So it'll be interesting, man, to see.
Yeah, no, yeah. No, it's some, and like I just want to say one more thing. I don't think he really took Porter that serious, because I remember watching those press conferences. He almost like he was kind of taking them like as a joke almost. And I remember Porter even said that. I think they had a weigh-in in L.A. and Porter was like, "Well, I think my biggest advantage is Spence. He's doubting me. He's not taking me as serious." But for this fight, he's taking. This is the biggest fight of his career, so I think he's taking this very serious.
I think so, man. I just think overall, man, I just think he's more focused in general, right? Ever since the the car accident and those things, I think Spence has been more just focused in general.
Yeah, I agree. Well, yeah, I just wanted to chime in on that, and I'll catch the rest of the show.
All right, man. Sounds good. Appreciate you for calling, bro.
All right, no problem.
All right, guys. We open the phone lines, man. We gonna do it for a little bit longer, man. I know this midday and a lot of people are working. Hell, I got stuff to do, but I want to jump on real quick, man. Get our initial reactions and thoughts, and hear from the people their initial reactions and thoughts of this first press conference. Got my girl G.A. Peach in the building. What's going on with you? 301. You in the building with Jason and Greg. What's going on with you?
What's up, Jay? What's up, Greg? This is Mr. Moet on the chat, but my name
what's
is
going
Rob.
on with you?
What's up to y'all, man? Salute.
Man, salute, bro. What's going on with you?
Hey, man, everything. This day, man, as a boxing fan, I can't. It's like it's surreal. So glad to see those guys finally face to face. And one thing that wasn't mentioned. It's funny that Bomac was saying, "Oh, they treating us like we the B side."
Right.
Like they did nothing to make the fight happen in terms of being proactive. This fight is happening because Errol was proactive, and that's A-side mentality, choosing your opponent and setting things up. So, but we've talked about that for years. My assessment of the overall press conference, I kind of compare it to the Tank Ryan one. Day one, just kind of knocking the cobwebs out. Everybody's breaking the ice. And tomorrow, I feel like it's really going to be something to see. I'm team ESJ, 10 toes down, man down. I love Bud as highly competitive, talented boxer.
I agree.
But Greg, you said it best. He likes to keep distance. He holds when things get too close, so the ref can break it up. I mean, these are some key observations that he does in every fight.
Facts.
So I think EJ has his opportunities to get in there. My with EJ, and then I'll close out on this, and I'd love to hear you all feedback. I believe Errol going to have to be in 15-round shape. And when Errol fought L. Brook, Errol had 8-pack abs. If 8-pack abs and 15-round shape, Errol Spence comes in that ring on the 29th, he'll be victorious. No question about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Errol's going to definitely have to be in shape because Crawford's going to be in shape. And I think Errol generally comes in shape, even when he's not necessarily doing what it is that he needs to do in the ring. I feel like the only time I've seen Errol actually get tired in the ring was against Danny Garcia. And that was coming off the car accident. And even then, I didn't think he got all that tired, but I definitely think he got tired. But even with Sean Porter, he didn't get tired. But I feel like against Sean, you can kind of see his body wasn't quite there like it was in the past. Again, I'm going to say this again. I'm keep reiterating this because I think it's so important. I really wanted to see how those guys matched up in terms of their physical stature. Errol Spence is clearly bigger. I mean, he's bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
That much bigger.
Yeah, he got a little bit of body fat on him right now, just a little bit. I'm not talking. He's definitely in shape, but he's more around. He's more in walking around shape than he is in ready to fight shape. And I feel Bud the same way. Bud is more in walking around shape than he is in ready to fight shape. But when Errol was holding those belts, I was like, man, I think his arms might be as long as Crawford's. Because if he, the way he was holding him, it looked like if he would have put him straight down, his hands would have been right there with Crawford's hands. I keep telling people, Terence Crawford's biggest advantage is his arm length. He has been
no question.
He is a counterpuncher, but he's a counterpuncher who can counterpunch from range because of the arm length. If he doesn't have that as an advantage, meaning as he counters or attempts to counter, he can be hit, meaning Errol can now sit from outside and pop that jab. Pop it, pop it, pop it. Now, can Terence try to counter it? Sure. He can try to counter it and try to counter over it, but I don't think he's going to be as successful as Kell Brook was because I think Errol has grown and learned from that. Not only that, I think Errol's going to be aggressive in taking angles to get inside. And again, I think he's going to be able to punch from range. So a counterpuncher who all of a sudden now when he counterpunches, he's also in range to get counterpunched. I think you might see a little bit more hesitancy in Terence Crawford.
That's the difference of the pressure that EJ puts on you.
Exactly. He's a terrific offensive fighter, but his offense is his defense. And if he can put pressure on him by taking away some of the things he does well, being able to counter from range, being able to hit him from range, Terence may get more aggressive, which would then open him up even more for Errol Spence to get those body combinations off. So, but it's going to be a tight fight. Like I fully expect everything that Errol laid out. I think it's possible, but I also think that Terence Crawford might throw a wrench in there and try to be aggressive in the first round, see if he can push EJ back and see how he responds to it.
Absolutely. Salute, Jay. Salute, Greg. I'm going to disconnect and listen to you all online. Man, love what you all are doing. Keep up the great work.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
I missed it, man. I missed it.
You always missing. Hey, man, we got 135 people in the building. Please, if you can, hit that like button for us, man. This AM Sports Media Angry Man podcast. We always drop content on a regular basis. And so I think you guys will enjoy the content that we drop. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, become a part of the family. Jay,
the only thing I saw was Bomac still looks hungry. He always looks hungry.
Man, why you always riding on Bomac, man?
Man, he easy work. Easy work. Sitting there with his hands on his stomach, sitting back. I was looking for a bag of Cheetos.
Man, you sick. All righty, man. We got the 203 in the building. I believe this is my guy, JD. Am I right?
No, it's not JD. It's Tunnel Vision.
Oh, Tunnel Vision. What's going on?
Tunnel?
Hey, what's going on? Man, the first thing I'm seeing is that after seeing Bomac and as hard as he's breathing, and that belt around him that looks like it could fit on him like a watch, I mean, they need to make sure that, man, they need to make sure that they got a large enough ambulance over there at all times, make sure they have a defibrillator, and make sure they have an oxygen mask and EMTs that are physically big enough that they can put him on that oversized gurney and into that ambulance if they have to. Like, man, that boy needs to bring that weight down, man. It's too much. Oh my gosh, it's too much. Now we want him to make it to this fight. We don't need nothing happening to him and Terence Crawford being stressed out and pulling out or something like that. So we need to take all precautions.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
Yeah, I mean, and like as far as the fight though, I mean the number one thing that I was that I think that could end up being a major thing is that But they always talk about how, in Terence Crawford, when he goes to the corner, it's kind of like, the instructions that Bomac always gives him. He's never necessarily giving him, like, clear instructions. And you could kind of even see it when it came to the press conference because, when they asked him, like, hey, how are you going to win this fight, And he kind of just gave this, it wasn't really, it was almost, to me, it was almost like how Sugar Ray Leonard, when they asked him, like, how is Mikey going to win the fight? He's like, he's going to win it because he's Mikey. It was almost, to me, it's almost like saying, well, he's going to win because he's Terence Crawford, and he's just, more talented. Whereas you see as James, it was different. Like, he was breaking things down. He was more articulate. He was, giving you points, how things are going to probably happen, the reasons they're going to happen, And it's just that I think that that's also going to be a major thing because, in tough situations, Derek James is going to be able to give Errol Spence, specific instructions on what to do in that fight, just like he also does with Charlo, and Charlo is having issues there. He gives them specific instructions on what to do. What are you doing wrong? What you're doing right? The adjustment you need to make. Right there, he's doing that. He's able to dissect the fight down. Bomac doesn't do that. So the thing is that if Terence Crawford gets caught up in tough situations where he needs those instructions and he has no one to actually, he literally doesn't have anybody to give him those instructions, it could end up hurting him really, really bad in the fight.
Which was what I'm hoping for. That's exactly what I'm hoping for. I hope that's exactly what happens. Because I mean, think about it like this, Tunnel. Now, you tell me if you agree or you disagree with this. I know sometimes we agree. I know sometimes we disagree, but I think you might agree with me in this particular case. There's going to come a time as a part of this fight that Terence Crawford is going to go through some rough waters. I don't see how it's any way possible that he's not, right? Errol is going to apply pressure, and it's going to be up to Terence Crawford to figure out a way to change it. Now, unless Terence Crawford comes in with something that throws Errol completely off, and Errol, like, I'm just going to throw this out there as an example, Errol truly can't figure out a way to move backwards and fight Terence Crawford, or Crawford is so much stronger than what we expected, and he's fighting like Errol Spence. Something like that happens, which I don't think is going to happen. Outside of that, he's going to get into it. He's going to have to fight. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts on that?
No, yeah, like Floyd Mayweather even said it before. He was like, hey, you know what I mean? Yeah, you might be able to have all this athleticism, these quote skills, be able to do these things, but you're going to meet that person that that's not going to matter. Like, you're going to have to fight. There's going to be no way around it. It doesn't matter even the greats. When it came to Floyd Mayweather and Maidana in that first fight, Floyd had to fight. When it came to that Miguel Cotto fight, Floyd had to fight. Like, it is what it is. Sometimes when it came to even the Zab Judah fight, he had to fight. So sometimes it just get put into a situation where you ain't got no choice, and it's almost like with the Devin Haney kind of fight with Lomachenko, where I remember people used to always ask, like, well, how's Tank gonna, what if Tank can't get to him? What's Tank gonna do with the movement and all this other stuff? But then as soon as that level stepped up, everybody saw what happened. Regardless of who you saw, who you think won, you saw what happened in that situation. And I just think with Terence Crawford, like, Errol Spence made a good point where he was like, with the top-ranked matchmaking. So the thing is that because of with the top-ranked matchmaking, my question is, what's going to happen when all of a sudden you have to step up to this, super high level of competition? What are you going to do in those particular? What are you going to do in that particular situation? And I just think it's a space that he's never really been at, and I personally don't think he's going to be able to handle it. I think he's going to have the layers he's going to need in order to survive. What's going to happen? I don't think he has them, and it doesn't mean that he's not skilled. Like Spence said, you can be a really great fighter and still get your ass whipped. Like that can still happen. So I think he's a great fighter, but I think when it comes to, I just think what he has to deal with on that night, I just think is the absolute wrong style for him. I think when you're building a fighter and you're building a style, this is completely wrong for him. And I don't think he's going to have issues that I just don't think he's going to get out of it. And no, when they say he's light in the ass, that size thing does matter. Like, yeah, you started at 135 pounds or whatever it was, weight that Spence probably couldn't even make it down to. So, in that ring, yes, that size is going to matter. You can say you're strong, all this, whatever you want, you're not as big as that dude, and you're physically probably not going to be as strong as that guy. And it's just, it's going to be a rough night. It's going to be a real rough night. And it'll be close. And it might be, whatever in the beginning, but as the time goes on, I think it'll end up being like the Kell Brook fight. Kell Brook fight was exciting, but eventually we all saw what happened. Kell Brook had moments, everything, all that. He had, movement. He was getting his jab off, Muska landing some of his shots, putting Errol Spence even into certain situations where he had to overcome stuff. But overall, he ended up being physically broke down. And I just believe that when it comes to this fight, it's going to be the same thing. But, we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, you never know in boxing. I mean, boxing is boxing, right? And so, you never can tell. But it's just my personal opinion that that in this particular situation, I think he's going to – I kind of see it playing out similar to the Kell Brook fight as well. And one of the things that I want to highlight is this. When you start talking about his style is all wrong, right, for a counterpuncher, I want people to think about, like, Floyd, and I know this isn't exactly the case, right, but think about Floyd and Maidana, right? Maidana gave Floyd a rough fight just by being able to apply the pressure. And Maidana isn't even 1/10 of Errol Spence because his pressure is wild pressure. Errol's pressure is going to be very intelligent. Errol's approach is very tactical. It's very skillful. And I just feel like, to your point, that style with that pressure and the combination punching and the amount of volume that he's going to work behind, because he's going to work behind that jab, and that jab's going to always be keeping Terence busy. I think once he starts to get on the inside and start to unleash, I just feel like it's going to be a challenging night for Terence Crawford. But again, could be wrong. And I'm not saying that this fight won't be close, because I think the fight's going to be close like throughout the entire fight. I just think somewhere during the course of the fight, Terence is going to continue to get broken down, and this may go 12 rounds, but I think it's possible that Errol could stop him late. I think if the fight ends early, though, I think it's probably because Terence clipped Errol. That's my thoughts on it.
Man, honestly, I think if the fight ends early, I think it's going to be because Spence stopped Terence Crawford. Because if he tries that whole trying to push it forward, trying to push Errol back, if he tries that method, I think he's going to end up getting hurt early. With the way he has his hands down, just the way defensively, the way he sets himself up, he's going to have problems. Like certain things he's been able to get away with other fighters, where he's not going to be able to get away with those same things with the person that's going to be in front of him. And Errol Spence is very on point, when it comes to his fundamentals. And even when he does get hit, like I said before, he's been hit with power punchers, but he handles that. He's been able to handle that. Kind of like also Charlo. Charlo gets hit. He's been hit by heavy-handed dudes, but he handles that. So I think it's going to be a situation where even if he does catch Errol, I think it's a situation where Errol's going to handle it. I think it's going to be a situation where people we're going to be like, oh, shit, that's not, it's not affecting him like that. Because most of the people he's hurting, they're putting themselves in weird positions. It's kind of like you get clipped. Most of the time, with the way Errol fights, Errol's going to see those punches coming, even if he gets hit. And with the way he's going to be set up, I don't think it's going to be the case. I think if somebody gets stopped early, I think it's actually going to be Terence Crawford within the first 3-4 rounds. If he tries to come fight like that, if he fights like that, he needs to be yourself. This is one because Errol's going to be himself. Terence Crawford needs to be himself. He needs to not try to be something that he's not and fight outside of who he is. Because if he tries to fight outside of who he is, he's going to get hurt. Just like Errol Spence, I don't want to see him all of a sudden jabbing and moving around and keeping his hands down and trying to be like a bootleg Terence Crawford.
Right.
No, because Terence Crawford's going to whip your ass if you try to do that. So if Terence Crawford's trying to be it's going to try to be this, push forward fight or whatever it is. No, you try to do that, you're going to get your ass whipped because, no, you're not going to be able to play that man's game. It's not happening.
I don't think so either. I don't see it happening. I've seen stranger things happen, but I don't see that happening. Tono, anything else you want to share with the people, man?
No, that's it, man. Y'all have a good day.
All right, man. Appreciate you for calling in, bro. Thank you.
Yep. Peace.
Peace.
You gonna get
Yeah,
up outta
man.
here.
Say what now?
Had to pop in real quick. Couldn't say too much. About to get back on this job.
Oh man, I got you, man. Yeah, man. Go ahead and do your thing, man. I mean, you know, one person, you know, he runs the man, and one person gets ran by the man. I'll catch up with you later. I'll catch up with you later. Later.
Sound like Bud.
All right, guys, it's just me now. So I'm gonna go probably another 10, 15 minutes. Yo, we got the 857 in the building. What's going on with you, man?
You already know, bro. This is FSU Walt, baby, from Boston.
What's going on with you, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching the press conference, right? It's like, you see how when they asked Terence about what happened in his fight, you know, not getting together, he just changed the subject real quick because he knew with them in the room he couldn't make them same excuses. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like the last caller just said, it's like Terence can't, you know, Terence, if you hit him, he just loses his mind and tries to take you out. He can't do that in this fight. Like you said, he's got to fight with composure because to me, this is a big step up for him in competition. Because if you look at, like we were talking about before, the resume, come on, man. It's like Errol said today, the resume is really weak at 147. You know, he took less money to fight Amir Khan. It's like, and he made fun of Errol for fighting Ubers with 4 losses, but Amir Khan had been brutally knocked out 3 of them 4 losses. Facts. So I'm not saying to me, if somebody asks me who's going to win this fight, I can't give them a real straight answer because all of us, we don't know. This is one of them fights where you don't know.
No, I agree with that. Like you can speculate with who you believe is going to win. But I think the fight is close just because of the stylistic matchup and how a counterpuncher with a pressure fighter, how that might mesh together. So, I mean, we've been saying that this is a close fight for a very long time. So, even though we don't believe that, because I think a lot of people take what we say out of context, right? They believe that we are saying that Terence Crawford is not a good fighter. It's not the case. It is that his fans elevate him to such a level that, quite frankly, we don't see, right? And so when we highlight some of the things that are gaps in his resume or fighters that he fought that weren't top-notch fighters, then they say that we're hating and that we don't like Terence Crawford. That's not true. We just don't see it how you see it. You know what I mean?
But Errol's thing to me is what he said is true. He's got to have focus, you know, from 1 to 12 because that's Terence's whole thing. He's waiting to catch you. And if Errol can fight, you know, aggressively but defensively responsible, I think he's going to win the fight. But I could be wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, because Terence is a counterpuncher, and that's what he's waiting for. To your point, to catch him, to catch him.
But not to change the subject, but real quick, Jason said something on one of the I saw one of the things y'all had up today, talking about the Devin Haney and Shakur thing. The reason why Shakur's going at Devin Haney, because Devin Haney used to do that to everybody. He would call dudes out when he had fights or when they had fights when he knew he couldn't fight. You know what I'm saying? And it's like Shakur knows there's no thing to the contract. They both fight with top rank really right now. It's just I guarantee you Dev does not take that fight. That's a 9-3, 10-2 fight, bro. I'm telling you, that's a wash.
I don't think he's
not going to beat Shakur with just a jab.
Yeah, I don't think he's taking that fight either, but I don't think he's taking it because of the economics of it. I don't know if it's. I don't think he's
not taking that fight. I guarantee it because every time they ask him about the fight, he's maybe at 47 or that because he knows deep down his heart that's a fight where he's not sure of himself. Other fights, I think he thinks he's bigger, so much bigger than Tank. But I think Shakur, he's been in there with him, and Shakur's pretty much handled him. So I think he knows Shakur is a little bit too much. But I'm going to let you go, brother. You have a great one.
All right. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for calling in, bro.
All right, bro. Let you go, brother. You have a great one.
Yo, we got the 531 in the building, man. Who we have on the line?
Go, brother. You have a great one.
Yo, I got the 531. We got Willie Jones.
Hey, Willie, can you turn your volume down? It's coming through as an echo.
Yes. Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay, cool. What's going on with you, man?
Yeah, I was just calling in. I was watching the press conference, and I'm from Omaha, but I was looking at one thing I noticed is that Spence is just so much bigger than Crawford. Like, it's ridiculous. Crawford's going to have to try to kill this man to even win the fight.
Yeah, I didn't realize just how much bigger he was than Crawford as they were standing next to each other. And I'm going to keep highlighting this over and over and over all the way into the fight. That arm length is going to play a role. If Errol's arm length is the same as Terence Crawford, I got him winning. Yeah, I mean, clearly winning too.
I mean, I got to be honest with you, man. Even with that arm length, just looking at them two side by side, all that stuff, that switch hitting trick shot stuff he do with everybody else. When you put them two together, Earl's just more fundamentally sound, more stable, got a stronger base. When he said that light and ass comment, the first thing I thought about was he's a former undisputed light and ass champion. I'm like, man, come on, bro.
Exactly. Hey,
but have a good one, man. I'll let you go.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later, bro. Thank you. All right, man. That was the 531 in the building. Yeah, man, I think I'm going to take 1 to 2 more calls, and then we're going to wrap it up for today. I just wanted to make sure we hopped on there and talked about the live press conference. We're probably going to do it again tomorrow. But we definitely want to be involved and engaged as it relates to this particular fight. Yeah, man, I was going to go back to that, man, that arm length, man. If they got the same arm length where Errol can hit Terence, man, from the same range Terence can hit Errol from, that's Terence Crawford's biggest advantage. It's truly like his biggest advantage. So I'm curious to see them again next to each other. Yeah, Mr. Vegas, that's what I'm saying. If they got similar arm lengths, I'm even more confident in. That's what I'll say. I'm even more confident in my prediction. We got the 267 in the building. What's your name, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? My name's Juice.
What's going on with you, bro?
Oh man, I just wanted to make one comment, man. I think that Spence boxing skills is being overlooked throughout this whole thing, man. He boxed so much better than everybody getting credit for. I actually think that he can actually outbox Bud in this fight.
You mean similar to what he did against Mikey
Garcia, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, could Spence stay on the outside and outbox him, specifically if they got a similar range? Yeah, it's possible. Terence, again, and I'm going to say this again and again and again and again. Terence game, and he is an excellent fighter. I want to preface what I'm saying that he's an excellent fighter. But Terrence's game is predicated on reflexes and ability to control range due to his arm length. That's his game.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
His game.
And what a lot of people not realizing is that jab that Spence got, man, it's something crazy, man. That jab gonna neutralize everything. Mark my word, that jab is gonna be the benefactor of this whole fight.
Yeah. I definitely think the jab is gonna play a factor, and I just think overall skill set. I think Errol has a skill set that offsets Terence. I think Terence has a skill set that offsets Errol. I just think that this is going to come down to one guy executes his style at a extremely efficient and what's the other word that I'm looking for? Not only efficient, but not even just calculating, but like at a almost flawless level. Like he does everything right.
Everything's perfect. Yes, he does.
He's technically
he gave
fluid.
the perfect analogy when he said he's the Tim Duncan and Crawford's the Kevin Garnett. That's the perfect analogy. He does everything right, man.
Let me say this.
You know
Let me
what
say
I'm
this.
saying?
Yep. Let me say this, because now Jason gonna say that I never give him any credit, and he's right. I rarely ever give him any credit because he's always wrong. But I promise you this: Jason has been using that analogy for the last 4 years. I mean, if you go back and look at some of our old videos, like, you know, we just started this channel, so it's only 15 months old. But go look at some of those initial Errol Spence videos. He was calling him Tim Duncan of boxing 15, 16 months ago. You know, and he's been saying that for the last 4 years. So he's been spot on with that, man, using that analogy.
I just think Spence got too many things. I think Spence got too many advantages in the fight. I think he's actually the better boxer. And I think when they get down and when they got to get down and mix it up, he's going to be tougher in the inside as well. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see Crawford winning this fight unless he catch him with something.
And I think that's what Kenny Porter sees. Kenny is saying that he's going to come in. He's going to be big on fight night. And if you can't keep him from being on top of you, it's a wrap.
It's over. But I appreciate it, man. I just wanted to share that. I honestly think that the guy's not getting no credit for boxing. A lot of talk about toughness and all this, and this guy don't back up and all that. But it's not nothing being said too much about that man's boxing skills, man. That man throw every punch textbook right, textbook perfect, man. You know, that type of fundamentals, man. Always oversees all that other stuff that they try to, you know, all that athleticism and all that stuff, man. You can't never beat fundamentals, man.
I totally agree with you, man. Well, I appreciate you calling in, bro. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Big fan of the channel.
Thank you, man. Thank you for being a part of it. Talk to you soon.
Absolutely.
All right, man. We're going to take one more call, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Like I said before, we're going to try to come back tomorrow as well. We got the 210 in the building. Yeah, you on with Greg, man. What's your name?
Greg, I think you should have my number memorized already. It's Jerry Soriano, Yolanda for life. How's it going?
Oh, yeah, I got your area code, but sometimes people have different area codes, or it's different numbers, but it's the area codes. But what's going on with you, Jerry?
Joking. All right, so we got one press conference out of the way, and you know, there was nervous energy on both sides. I think the moment, you know, it's just big stage. I mean, Custard even looked a little nervous up there. He was battling, his eyes were wide open. Man. I think everybody was a little. I think the next press conference you'll see everybody loosen up a little bit.
More than likely.
But here, let me lay this out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to call how this fight's going to go right now because I heard a couple of recent interviews from Derek James.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard enough from Spence as to how he sees the fight unfolding,
mm-hmm.
and I've heard enough from Crawford and Bomac, and this fight, and they both keep talking about action. Let me just tell you how this fight's going to be. And at first I was wondering, is it possible? But we all talk about the Hagler-Hearns. Remember Hagler-Hearns?
Yeah.
Oh, you can honestly say those first 3 rounds were like best action ever in a championship match. I mean, you can honestly say that. I mean, both guys have just done it.
Yep.
And the more I hear Spence talk, I hear James talk, and I thought about this from the very beginning because the one aspect that's going to surprise the Spence camp, Spence fans, is everybody's banking on Spence being stronger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's banking on that. And I think that's the first thing, because even with Porter, I don't know if you remember the Porter fight when Crawford threw him. Like he just lifted him up and threw him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to be the first order of business, is that I believe Crawford is going to come in, and he's going to prove to Spence that he's not stronger than him. And that's going to unfold the whole fight. I honestly believe that Crawford is going to come right after Spence and try to back him up from round 1. And what's this fight's going to come down to is who's in better shape. And I honestly believe that. At first I was thinking that Spence would try to mix it up, maybe try to box and just try to figure something out on the fly. I thought both guys would just be on the fly. But the more I hear both sides talk, Derek James doesn't seem like he has, he doesn't seem like he has to put anything special together for Crawford. It's more like, hey, man, breaking ribs, bones, eye sockets, we're going to break everybody. And then I heard today Spence is still on that, I'm going to break his will. I just think it's going to be what it's going to be. So for everybody thinking, Spence is going to come out and do this, and he's not just a one-style fighter, they're pretty much telling you how they're going to beat Crawford, and they're going to try to walk through him. So Crawford, the only way I can see Crawford coming out is meeting him head-to-head. Because if Spence has any doubt early on that he cannot, he's not the stronger fighter, he can't just go in there and bulldoze Crawford, that's going to change everything. And it's just going to come down to who's in better shape, who can take the shots better. Hopefully, Spence looked a lot better today. I was a little afraid after seeing that first commercial. He looked a little soft, but he looked slimmed down today. He looks like he's in shape. His face, he already looks like. Both guys look like they can fight next week. But I'm calling it right now. This fight is not going to go more than 7 rounds. And whoever's in better shape is going to win the fight.
Okay.
That's all I got, my friend.
All right, Jerry. Well, I appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you.
I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
All right, man. I'm closing down the phone lines now because I only got a little bit more time. But I do want to comment on what Jerry said. So I've thought about Crawford coming after Spence as well because, number one, I think that's a way that he could possibly surprise him. And I also believe that deep down in Terence Crawford's mind, he believes he's the stronger fighter. Remember, we did a video and we talked about this. When he was at his charity event, he mentioned that he's never been in the ring with anybody that's stronger than him. He's always been the stronger guy. So I think in his mind, similar to what Jerry is saying, because Jerry feels like that from one angle, but I also feel like that from the Terence Crawford side, that there's a possibility that he feels that he's a stronger fighter and that he believes that Errol Spence can't move backwards. So he may try that. I think there's a couple of things that could possibly happen. Number one, maybe he is stronger than Errol Spence, which I seriously doubt it. Errol has been in there with Charlo. Errol has been in there with some bigger, stronger guys. I seriously doubt Terence Crawford is going to bring more heat and strength and pressure than one of those guys. So I like Crawford, but I don't think that's going to be the case. And I'm not saying that Bud's not strong. I just don't think that's going to be the case. But might he try it? He might. So here's the other thing that Jerry mentioned, which was that's going to change everything. Well, not exactly, because Errol didn't exactly use strength against Mikey Garcia either. He boxed him from the outside. And that's where I go back to the arm reach advantage. If Errol can hit Terence Crawford from the same range that Terence Crawford can hit Errol Spence, Errol can stay on the outside and use that jab, take half steps back and counter Terence Crawford. There's multiple ways Errol Spence can fight, but for whatever reason, people only feel that he can fight in one manner. That's simply not true. Aaron H. Muhammad, this is the first time I've said the most important thing Bud better protect is his will. Of all the things that Spence destroys, the will is key. Aaron, I appreciate the $5. Jason appreciates the $5. Thank you so much. And we got Bruce Gas boxing in the building. What's going on with you, Bruce Gas? Yeah, guys, I just want to get my final thoughts on this. A lot of you guys have mentioned the fact that these guys they seem nervous. I didn't see the nervous energy in Spence, in my opinion. I did see some nervous energy in Terence Crawford. I think both of them were loose by the time Errol Spence mentioned that he hadn't really fought anybody. So I think we'll see more fireworks tomorrow. I think that was just kind of the warm up, the teaser, if you will. I think you'll see a more energetic and, well, I won't call him more energetic, but I think you'll see a more vocal Bomac. Derek James is a reserve guy, so I don't think he's going to say a lot. Errol was perfectly fine with taking the lead and going after Terence Crawford, which ignited everything, which was a good thing. because again, I'm going to go back to what I said when I first hopped on here. It's very important for these two gentlemen to promote this fight. If you guys tell me what you think, but I checked around and it seemed like the most that I saw on the press conference was maybe like, and I looked at Showtime and PBC, but again, I may have been looking at it at the wrong time. But I think the most I saw on there was maybe, I think it was 9,000 people who were on their live stream. Now, in comparison, when I saw Tank and Ryan's initial press conference, if I'm not mistaken, there were 20,000 people on it. 20,000. Oh, you saw 40,000? It was 40,000 people on there? Oh, hell. Wow. I did not realize 26,000. Okay. So when I first started and I looked around, I only saw 9,000 people. So, okay. So clearly they're getting the people that they need to see. Okay, perfect. Anyway, the press conference tomorrow, they're going to open up. It's going to be I think you're going to get more of this energy. I think they're going to go after each other a little bit more. I think you'll see a little bit more trash talking. This is just the beginning. So good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up now. Be on the lookout. We're definitely going to drop another video. We're going to drop a video and talk about a little bit about this press conference as well. So you guys get an opportunity to check that out, because I know Jason hasn't had the opportunity to give his thoughts on it. 27,000 and 13,000 on the PBC site. Gotcha. Okay, and we got 202 people in the building, man. If you get the opportunity, please hit that like button on the way out, man. It helps everybody find the content on the channel. And again, much appreciated. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to cover the press conference tomorrow as well. We'll probably go live so you guys can see it. I'll probably be talking a little bit over it. I know today I was a little bit too hyped up and excited for Errol Spence talking trash, because I was expecting these guys to be more reserved today. So, but good stuff. Appreciate it. And you guys check out the content that we're going to drop later on today. Probably a couple of videos. I think we've already put out a couple of today, and check those videos out as well. All right, guys. Deuces.